Welcome to Relish Books. Today I'm talking a little bit about one of my favorite classics, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And the iconic opening lines are, "Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again." And as soon as you read that line, you open the book, you read that, and it immediately sets the entire tone of the book. You have the voice that is going to be telling the story. You have kind of this dreamlike quality and mystery. You never quite know what's going on, even when there are these big reveals later on. By the end of the book, you still have questions, and I love that. I didn't read the book until a couple years ago. It was published in 1938, and I'd always heard about it. But when I read it for myself, I was immediately blown away. It's a literary classic, as well as being classified as gothic and romantic suspense and crime fiction and mystery. And it has components of all of those things, but it really blends together into its own story that's not really any of those separate things, but it's just a story that flows together really well and is kind of set apart from any of those. It's just a very singular novel, and I really, really enjoy it. Highly recommend it. So it's about this young woman who's leading a lonely life. She is working for this. She's kind of traveling with this with her employer. She's kind of just a companion to her, but she's not very nice. And then she meets this wealthy widower. He's kind of famous in his own sphere, and she kind of falls in love. There's this whirlwind romance, and they get married when she still knows very little about him. Then she goes to his family home, Manderley, and she comes to realize that his home and his life, the people around him, are haunted by the memory of his first wife, Rebecca. One of the things that I love about the book is kind of this clever little tactic that the author uses, is that the protagonist is unnamed. You never know her first name. And I think that's really significant because the name Rebecca dominates the book. She finds her initials everywhere. People are always saying her name. Just over and over, you hear this other woman's name, and the new wife feels so small and like nothing in comparison to this great character and great hostess and like beautiful Rebecca. And so I just think that that's a really neat little thing. Even though it's not really drawn out, I didn't notice until I've been reading the book for quite a while that it had never said her name, which again, since it's in the first person, is fairly easy to do. And people that refer to her can use other names. Once she's married, then she has Max's last name. He's a great character too. I really enjoy both of them. They're dynamic, even though he's quite a bit older than her. Again, there's such a great romance there. I really enjoy the, she's in love with him, but they don't really know each other very well, and he treats her as being so young that she comes to feel like he doesn't really think of her in the way that she wants him to. Not like as a man should think of his wife, even though she wants to think of him as a husband. And kind of her like working through that is a large part of the story, while at the same time, the whole mystery of Rebecca is very prevalent. And I just think it's a wonderful book. A lot of plot twists, definitely surprising if you don't already know the story. I really like the Alfred Hitchcock version of the movie. There have been a couple remakes, but I really like that one because I think the actors they got were really, really good in comparison to the characters in the book. Laurence Oliver and Joan Fontaine, I think, were really good. They did change one major plot point. For the most part, they stay very close to the book, but it's like this one pivotal thing that kind of makes the book what it is, because I feel like Daphne du Maurier really kind of pushed the boundaries in a sense, or she broke some of the, I guess you could say she broke some of the laws, the unspoken laws of a romance, in kind of her climax that she did. And I think that makes the book very interesting and different, and I think it's really important that she kind of, dared to do that. But it was like the movie just couldn't quite stand to go there. But it's, it's a mystery. It's a crime thriller almost in some ways. So it's disappointing that they didn't kind of go all the way. But I do understand. I do understand why. So if you've seen the movie but haven't read the book, definitely read the book. I don't know what some of the newer versions did. But yeah, I just love this book. Lots of great scenes that I like to reread, go back and look at. I don't currently have a copy, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll get one soon. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. Would highly recommend it. It is, again, it spans so many genres, but isn't really tied down to any one genre. And because I haven't read any of her other books, it kind of seems to like stand alone in my mind. It's just this totally different and totally set apart kind of thing. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to say that it maybe has the most wonderful or good story, but it is very, very well done, very interesting, very gripping, and again, the writing is excellent. So just an all-around great classic that I don't know if it's on my top 10 just because it's so hard to have a top 10, but definitely very high on my list. So let me know what you think about it, and if you haven't read it, again, definitely recommend doing that. So thanks.